The first thing I'm going to talk about today is Devin Asiasi. I feel like the Patriots got a steal on this guy. Now, in order to understand why, we'll first have to look towards Devin's draft report. It shines with positivity and points towards an extremely high ceiling. I mean, just for a rundown, Devin was said to have the best hands in the 2020 tight end class. And now he wasn't known for letting the ball hit the ground. He didn't drop a ton of passes. He has solid strength and build, sitting at 6'3 and 257 pounds. Scouts also reported that he has a good yard after catch ability, as his solid athleticism combined with his build make him difficult to tackle. He's described as a solid blocking tight end, especially in the run game. He has solid route running ability, as he isn't easily thrown around at the line of scrimmage or in the middle of the field, which allows him to beat linebackers and safeties down the middle, which you really want out of a tight end. And in terms of weaknesses, he doesn't have a ton, but there are some important ones. His 40 time was disappointing at 4.73, and he isn't known for his speed in the open field. Considering it seems that his best strengths come in the passing game, it's a little disappointing to see that 40 time, but in the end, I still believe he can produce pretty well even with that relatively slow 40 time. Now, along with this, he only had 1 year of production at UCLA, following a transfer from Michigan, which it kind of hurt him in the long run. Might have been a big reason why he wasn't chosen in the first round, but based off his scouting report, he looks like a first-round tight end. Now, overall, Asiasi seems like a solid starter even without the college stats backing him up. His freshman year wasn't really worth noting, and due to transfer rules, he was unable to play in his sophomore season at UCLA after leaving Michigan, and his junior year was yet again underwhelming, as he didn't end up seeing many snaps in the first place. But in 2019, he finally put up relatively solid stats with 44 catches for over 600 yards and 4 touchdowns. So again, not a stellar college career, but Asiasi was, as I said before, seen by many scouts as a solid starter coming out of college if he could continue to develop. That's a key thing. If the Patriots can develop Asiasi, which they've been known to be able to develop these young, kind of unknown players really well, and I believe Asiasi could be the Patriots' starting tight end for years to come. Now, this is a steal for two main reasons. Firstly, the Patriots took him in the third round. Granted, Asiasi, again, was no superstar coming out of college, but spending a third rounder on someone many scouts called a near-sure starter is a steal in and of itself. And the last two times the Patriots drafted a tight end within the first rounds of the draft, they drafted Rob Gronkowski and Aaron Hernandez, both of which ended up being top-of-the-line tight ends in their prime. So if history has anything to say for Bill Belichick drafting tight ends early, it's in favor of Asiasi. Not to mention, Devin fits well into the Patriots' offense as well. The Patriots struggled last season, playing with a 38-year-old Ben Watson and relatively unknown Matt Lacoste at tight end. I believe it was one of the worst receiving cores in terms of the tight end position in the entirety of the NFL. And the Patriots have been known to utilize the tight end position mainly because of Rob Gronkowski, but also in the past before they even drafted Gronk in the first place. So of all spots on offense, tight end seems to be the most lackluster. I mean, the run game isn't there. The offensive line has its mishaps. The receiving group is tough, especially now that Mohamed Sanu has been cut. The receiving group for the Patriots right now is a lot of ceiling and not much proven. Really, the only proven guy in the Patriots receiving core right now is Julian Edelman. Everyone else seems to have high ceilings, but we haven't really even seen a step of that long staircase for them to become true, solid wide receivers that'll fit into this Patriots offense. So therefore, if Asiasi is any good, he should get a solid amount of snaps in his rookie year and possibly take over the starting role before the season comes to a close. And not to mention, again, the Patriots receiving core, not even close to the best in the league. If Asiasi is good, then he could definitely contribute to that. And if Asiasi ends up being one of the better targets in the offense, they're definitely going to try to utilize him the best they can, even in his rookie year. Now, overall, the Patriots possibly have a steal in Devin Asiasi. Nothing is for sure, but a tight end with that type of scouting report drafted in the third round to a team without a starting tight end seems like the perfect fit. Granted, it may take a year or two for things to fully develop with Asiasi, but I'd bet money on Asiasi to be the starting tight end for the Patriots within the next 2 seasons and well into the future. This year, he's going to get to play with a solid quarterback in Cam Newton, so I think this year he's going to have an even better chance to show himself than he will next year, mainly because I do not see Cam Newton playing for the Patriots after this season. I mean, it's really a prove-it deal. If he does play solid enough to start all 16 games, he's going to get an offer from another team next year that Bill Belichick is not going to want to pay for. And Bill Belichick is going to either look to sit him or is going to look to the draft to find the next quarterback, which ultimately is going to be tough for Asiasi to try and prove himself with a very young quarterback under center. But in the end, I believe this season Asiasi is definitely going to shine. He's going to surprise some people, being a third-round rookie pick.